No, most men don't even get monogamy, right? They get celibacy. In general, societies that have encouraged monogamy have less violence because the men in the lower quartile don't end up becoming criminals. It's just you're just far less likely to commit crimes, violent crimes. You'll commit other crimes, but violent crimes if you have a mortgage. That's one of the also the advantages of consumerism is if you have a government that encourages consumerism and people go into debt, they're far less likely to become revolutionaries and commit violent crime when they have two children at home and they're married. So marriage causes this lower quartile of men to just be less violent. So from a societal standpoint, encouraged monogamy does work and it is helpful. The reason why the question overall is moot is because it's like asking, should all men be billionaires? Well, most men can't become billionaires. And most men, monogamy is a good thing because mono means one, and most men can't get one. So having sex with one woman is great, right? They can at least do that. And then the other thing is, let's just say you made monogamy enforced and it was illegal for men to sleep with multiple women. The men at the top would still sleep with multiple women. In fact, the men who literally passed the law stating you can't have sex with multiple women would be the ones sleeping with multiple women. Because that's just the way society works. So the question is moot. Here's how it was before I was born, and here's how it will be after I die. There will be a great number of men, somewhere between a quarter and a third, that have little to no sexual options whatsoever. A middle portion of men who have a combination of one or two or four sexual options, maybe combined with a weekend trip to Medellin with some prostitutes. And then a group of men at the top who have a large group of sexual partners, maybe 30, 40, and then some men at the top who are in like the hundreds. That's how it's always going to be. That's how it'll be long after I'm dead. And no legislature will stop that. That's how it is in Iran. That's how it is in Mexico. That's how it is in the United States. That's how it is in every country. You're just going to have men at the top with a lot of options, which, by the way, certainly leads to a great number of men at the bottom with none. Listen, I'm at Bilzerian's party sometimes, and it's 1,700 girls and 400 guys. And when you're at those parties, you just come to the realization that like any of these women would have sex with Machine Gun Kelly, Logan Paul, Dan Bilzerian, like number of all the like athletes and celebrities that are there. And if that's the case, then there's a group of men that like if you ever go to his parties, they have shotguns and water hoses to keep the men out. Their boyfriends are all they don't throw the parties on this house anymore, but it used to be at Shalon Road in Bel Air, and up and down the road there were guys with water hoses and shotguns keeping the boyfriends from going in the party where all of the girls were there. I mean, I'm serious. I walked in with 50 girls. It was crazy when you're in there. But when you see like some men have that level of abundance and you just do some math, you're like, that means there's a whole lot of cashiers at Chick-fil-A and shelf stalkers at Walmart that are getting no women at all. So the question about monogamy is it's always just going to end up where it ends up. Marriage is a way to encourage it, not necessarily enforce it, but encourage monogamy. And then, in the end, what you're going to have is a lot of men at the top being like, especially like there'll literally be U.S. senators being like, we need to enforce the family, get back to the nuclear family, and then they'll cheat on their wife. So that's just the way the world works.
No, that makes perfect sense. And I didn't realize that the monogamy thing has been proven to be helpful for society. Do you think most men would enjoy the option to, if he wanted variety, that it's on the table? And do you think that do you also think that most men should try to increase their value so that they have options and can even have this conversation, but then also to negotiate that so that if it so happens that they meet somebody or whatever and just want to get it out of their system, that they can without endangering their family and the resources?
There's just two different types of men. Like a man who makes over like top 10% of wage earners in the United States, I think is $170,000 a year. They just like literally a man who makes over $170,000 a year, who's over 6 feet tall and is good looking. His options with women are they're not a little bit more. They're 2 orders of magnitude more. 80% of men on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge are deemed unattractive by women. The top 20% of right swipes, the top 20% of men on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge get 83% of the right swipes. Like there's 2 species of men now. There is a successful, high status species of man that women date and then complain about because they have too many women and too many options. And then there's the rest of men that women don't even see. They don't even notice that. And I'm serious. Like, I've done this before where me and my girlfriend will go to like Jack in the Box or whatever in the middle of the night. And then afterwards we'll drive off and I'll be like, describe the cashier. And they don't remember a fucking thing because it was a man who was low status. He's a piece of furniture to most women. He doesn't matter. They just don't notice these men at all. But a guy in a Ferrari, I guarantee you she remembers that he had blue eyes. I promise you she does. Because that's just the way it works. Most women, it's not that women are even like disregarding these men or like they're not dissing these men. They don't even notice these men exist. Like literally, they're not even acknowledging that the Filipino who's 5'5", who's their cashier at Walmart, that he's unattractive. They're not even acknowledging he's unattractive. They don't recognize he exists. That's how it is for most women. And so that's the reason why when you ask the question about monogamy, most men don't even get monogamy, right? They get celibacy. So that's the issue that's going on. So, I would just like to, I just like to welcome the robots that our grandchildren will be fucking here in 70 years. I just like to welcome, don't kill me.
Fembot 2000.
I want to be the first to welcome our robot overlords. Welcome.